Six Flags versus Cedar Fair, a question everyone wants answered, so let's answer it today. Six Flags and Cedar Fair are regional amusement park chains that own notable amusement parks such as Knott's Berry Farm, Cedar Point, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and many more. Now I know I'm late to make this video because as of July 1st, 2024, Six Flags and Cedar Fair have merged. But I haven't made this video earlier because I wanted more experience with the two chains. Now I am happy to say that I have visited 12 parks from both companies. The general consensus is that Cedar Fair is the better company, but is that really true? So let's put it to the test by comparing. For cost, I'm going to compare the price of a basic daily ticket and season pass for the flagship parks. So for Six Flags, a daily ticket at Magic Mountain is $49 and $119.99 at the gate, and for a season pass it's $85. And for Cedar Fair, a ticket for Cedar Point is $49.99, and at the gate it's $99.99, and for a season pass it's $125. I'm sorry Cedar Fair, but I'm gonna give the point to Six Flags for a slightly cheaper price. So this isn't the most important, but it's something to touch on. Because Six Flags has solar panels in their parking lots, which makes it really awesome. But they also have very long walks to the parks. So I guess Six Flags gets the point because of the solar panels. Now moving on to something actually important, atmosphere. This is something that most people praise Cedar Fair for, but I kind of disagree. The main thing that makes atmosphere different is theming, landscaping, paint, etc. For landscaping, at Six Flags it's almost non-existent, but there are some nice places like the vine tunnels at Six Flags St. Louis or the front entrance of Magic Mountain. But the place that really stood out is the path to Hurricane Harbor, St. Louis. There's some tropical plants and some shipwreck theming. It all looks just very nice. For Cedar Fair, the landscaping is very neat and well kept, but it kind of feels barren, especially when there is so many grass patches, which makes the parks feel a little bit empty. For theming, Six Flags has DC, which is not my favorite, but it has its place. It's fun to ride the Joker or Superman once in a while. Cedar Fair has Peanuts, but that's only for the kids area, and I like the original themes of Cedar Fair coasters. And Knott's Ghost Town is awesome. I mean, come on. How can you not like this place? The last thing for atmosphere is music, and Six Flags is pop music central. And call me basic, but I like pop music, and Cedar Fair does play pop music, but they mostly play whatever this is. Which can get really annoying after a whole day, and also, pop music just fits roller coasters. So for atmosphere, I'll give 1 point to Six Flags for the music, and 1 point to Cedar Fair for everything else. People praise Cedar Fair for this too, and I agree. Cedar Fair owns phenomenal rides such as Steel Vengeance, Mamba, Gold Striker, Diamondback, Fury, Shivering Timbers, Maverick, just to name a few. Not saying that Six Flags doesn't have good coasters, because they have Raging Bull, Mr. Freeze, X2, King Deca, and almost every single RMC ever built. But Six Flags does do flat rides better, like the Amazing Boosters and the Giga Discoveries. But I am going to give the point to Cedar Fair for the better coasters, because that's what matters. If the lines are too long, you can get a skip the line pass. Six Flags has the Flash Pass and Cedar Fair has Fast Lane, but I never used the skip the line pass, so no points given. I would say Six Flags has average operations. Some good, like Magic Mountain, or Great America, or even Six Flags St. Louis. But Six Flags also has the worst operations I've ever seen at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Now, Six Flags trains their own operators, but Cedar Fair uses IROC, which is a program to train ride operators, which is really good for safety, but not that much for efficiency. Here is a map of all the parks that use IROC. And besides Kings Island, most of the workers at the Cedar Fair parks are very unenthusiastic. And in terms of ride closures, Six Flags has a tiny bit more than Cedar Fair. But despite the insanely slow operations at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, I'm gonna give the point to Six Flags because there's nothing worse than slow, unenthusiastic operators. And for food, I actually never had a meal at Six Flags, and that's probably saying something because it looks pretty bad. But I have had plenty of meals at Cedar Fair parks because all-season dining, baby. I love it. Now, out of all the meals I've had at Cedar Fair parks, probably my favorite is the burger at Miami River Brewhouse at Kings Island. And also, I had a really good chicken burger at the Gorilla Grill at Worlds of Fun. And if you sit next to the restaurant, you get free entertainment. If you know, you know. And I have to say the quality of the food is also amazing because I don't really like honeydew, but the stuff that they served me at Cedar Point and Michigan's Adventure was actually tasty. And if you're sick and tired of regular theme park food, they also have some more variety like shrimp and burritos and many more. So I'm going to give the point to Cedar Fair because they blow Six Flags right out of the water for food. There is a reason why I only own merchandise from Cedar Fair because I really don't want an overpriced, ugly Joker t-shirt. Or a really ugly Harley Quinn mug. Or even a Batman cape. But you know what I do want? A t-shirt that actually has a ride's name on it. And guess what Cedar Fair has? T-shirts with rides' names on it. So I like Cedar Fair's merch so much better. And also, Michigan's Adventure had a coloring book to color roller coasters. Like, why don't more parks have this? And Michigan's Adventure also misprinted their hoodie, and it has Cedar Point roller coasters on, which was really funny. So without a doubt, I'm gonna give the point to Cedar Fair. Now, the only special events I've visited for both chains is Halloween Haunt or Fright Fest. And between the two events, there isn't much different, except I like the name of Fright Fest better because I think it's cooler. And I haven't experienced any of the mazes at any of the parks, so I cannot compare that. But one thing I do like that Six Flags Great America does is turn their teacup ride Chubasco into Terror Twister 2. Which is an absolute awesome ride. Just look. Six Flags Great America also changes the ride cycles of many other rides that I'm not going to get into here, but it's also cool. On the same note, Knott's Berry Farm turns Calico Mine Ride into Calico Candy Mine Ride, which I actually thought was a little annoying. So I guess Six Flags gets the point for Terror Twister 2. With special events comes live entertainment, and I have to say Cedar Fair has awesome shows like Conjure Tonight. I started watching it because I was eating pizza nearby, and I actually really enjoyed it, and to this day, it's my favorite theme park show. Just look.
Got to stay on me, baby.
And in my opinion, the Worlds of Fun version is the best out of all of them, but it does play at other Cedar Fair parks like Carowinds and King's Dominion. Now, I also didn't think the Nightmare Rhythm Machine at Six Flags Great America was that bad, but Cedar Fair definitely has more quality and quantity of shows, so point to them. So for this category, it's just little things that I thought were worth talking about between the two chains. And since I don't want to go through the whole tally thing for every little thing, we're just going to count up the points in the corner. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the physical season pass. Six Flags' season pass is so much thinner, but I feel like it's better because, sadly, my Cedar Fair season pass has cracked, which I feel like couldn't happen to the Six Flags pass. Point to Six Flags. And also, while we're on the topic of season passes, my Cedar Fair season pass did not work for a while in between my visits to Knott's Berry Farm and Kings Island because for some reason it wouldn't let us in the park, and then we had to wait like 10 minutes for somebody to get us in the park, and then once we were in the park we couldn't get food because it didn't think we were in the park. So then after we got food, we had to throw away the food and go to guest services to get vouchers and then go back to the food place and get food and then eat food and then do that every single day, which was very annoying. But luckily, Kings Island guest services did fix it for us, so that was just 15 days of annoyingness, so point to Six Flags. And another thing that people say Six Flags is bad about is the advertising, and I never experienced it, but I know there is a Talkies Boomerang train and Twix Pandemonium train, which is crazy to me, but I never seen that in real life. And the Cedar Fair commercials in the queue line is actually pretty annoying, especially the Sprite one, but it's about the same, so I am gonna give the point to nobody. Yeah. Also, another thing I have to praise Cedar Fair for is the amazing water slide additions they add to their water slides. I know they are clones, but I do love drop slides. So, point to Cedar Fair. And I don't know if this is IROC or Cedar Fair's rules, but at Cedar Fair parks, you are not allowed to sit in the train and ride the roller coaster again if there is nobody in the air gates. Which is actually the most stupid rule I've ever experienced in my life. Because for the same operational costs, you could have another person enjoy a ride. So, point to Six Flags. And now we can add up all the scores and... Wait, what? Cedar Fair lost? That can't be. Everybody loves Cedar Fair. Well, you know what we should do? Gain another point for Six Flags, because even though Cedar Fair is objectively better for most people, I still couldn't figure out why I enjoyed my days at Six Flags more than Cedar Fair. And then it was only until recently when I had the best day I have ever had at a theme park at Six Flags Great America at midnight when I figured out why Cedar Fair sucks. And it's because Cedar Fair has way too many pointless rules. But I don't know if it comes across to somebody that only goes to a theme park one day, because for someone that goes to theme parks 4 days in a row, every little bad experience adds up until you have a bad experience. Because just say I get to Worlds of Fun, and then I go to the entrance, and then I see this sign, which means Cedar Fair is trying to be Spirit Airlines for some reason. And then you're like, okay, that's a little strange, but alright. And then you walk a little bit farther, and then you see this sign, and then you're like, well, I guess teenagers can't go here alone. Okay, cool, I get that's for safety and stuff. And then you go, and you get on a ride, and then you see nobody's in the air gate, so you can go again. Well, guess what? You can't, because you're not allowed to do that for some reason. Don't even try switching rows to a row where there's no people in the air gates, because you're not allowed to do that either. And then if you're at a park for 4 days, it adds up to make you feel like you had a bad experience, but you cannot pinpoint why you had a bad experience until I went to Great America and I had an amazing time on Goliath, and the ride operators let us ride Goliath 7 times in a row past park operating hours, which I guarantee to you no Cedar Fair worker would ever do that. And just little things like that where operators let you ride more than once, or operate the ride one more cycle after park operating hours, just make me so happy and want to come again. And that's why I prefer Six Flags much more. Not saying that Cedar Fair is a bad company, because I enjoy lots of things that they do, like the food and the merch, but they have a slight bit more stupid rules than Six Flags, and if you are there for 4 days in a row, you really notice it. Now, I hope that the new Six Flags Entertainment Corporation adopt the rules from the legacy Six Flags, because then you also don't run into an issue like I had at Worlds of Fun with a Karen. So that's Six Flags versus Cedar Fair. I enjoy both companies, but I prefer Six Flags. Thank you all so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I've been thinking about making this video for years now, and now I finally made it. And I'm sorry it took so long, because I really wanted this video to be perfect. And it's probably not perfect, but I tried my best. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and coaster it. Bye.